Hi, and welcome to Let's Talk Loughborough, the podcast from Loughborough University that brings interesting interviews from staff and students all across the campus, as well as the latest news. And welcome to our second season. I'm your host, Jemima. I'm a student at Loughborough studying English with Digital Humanities, but I'm currently on my placement here at the Web and Digital team at Loughborough.
And I'm Soph, I'm Jemima's co-host. I'm the Internal Communications Officer at the university, which means I look after staff and student comms.
So today we're going to be talking to Anushka and Yasha from the Welfare and Diversity section of Loughborough Students Union, and we will also be welcoming Richard Taylor, the Chief Operating Officer of the university, to talk about the university's progress on race equity. And thank you guys for joining us today.
Hi everyone, my name is Yasha. I'm a finalist student. I study history and politics. This year I'm part of the Welfare and Diversity Committee. I'm the Ethnic Minorities Officer and I'm the chair for the Ethnic Minorities Network. I'm also part of the BAME Council this year, which is for Black, Asian, minority ethnic groups.
Hi everyone, my name's Anushka. I am the Welfare and Diversity Executive Officer here at Loughborough Students Union. I just graduated last summer with a degree in psychology, and I'm now working full-time at the union. Our sort of mission statement within Welfare and Diversity is to provide support, fun, advocacy and education for marginalised and minoritised communities on our Loughborough campus, but also on our London campus too. And I work a lot with the university strategically. I'm a students union and I'm also the chair of the Welfare and Diversity Committee with Yasha.
So today we're going to be talking about Black History Month and everything that the university has to do with race. But before we start, we're going to dive into our icebreaker question. So if you could invite any celebrity or historical figure from the past and the present to dinner, who would it be and why?
Yeah, I found this question really difficult to answer because I study history and there's like all these people I'd love to meet. But I settled on someone in the present, which is Serena Williams. I think she's just had such an incredible career. And yeah, I really looked up to her growing up and I still look up to her now. And I just love the way she's just been a trailblazer and all the things she's achieved. And even though she's kind of evolving into other elements of her life aside from tennis, I just think she's remarkable. So I'd really love just to chat to her and get to know her. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, she's definitely one to watch. I mean, one that we have watched, in fact. She's been amazing. And like you said, she is a trailblazer for a lot of people, a lot of young Black girls everywhere. So it's been amazing to see her journey.
I'd say my answer is quite similar to Nyasha's in terms of the sort of area. Mine would probably be Dina Asher-Smith. So if anyone doesn't know who she is, she's a British 100 metre and 200 metre sprinter. I think she's the current fastest British sprinter alive, female. And I've been following her for years in athletics, watching all the highs and lows of her career. I know that she won a bronze medal at the World Championships this year, and she's just such a source of inspiration to me just through her resilience, especially through her injuries that she's gone through this summer. And I know that she also spoke quite candidly about her period as well, which influenced her performance at one of the championships this year, which I think is somewhat unheard of in mainstream media, especially in athletics. So yeah, I really look up to her.
She's definitely amazing in the way she speaks about the issues that she faces, especially about her period. And you never really see that in mainstream media, like you said. And to see that and have that candid conversation has really opened up a lot of doors.
I felt like there was only one answer for me, and it was Lizzo, because I just think amazing dinner guest first off. She would be able to give us a little flute rendition, maybe a song. That would be great. And I love her energy. I feel like we need more of that energy with everything going on in the world today. She just is such a positive light, and I think she's incredible. So I would love to have her for dinner. And I'm also a vegan as well, so I feel like we would have a really good vegan meal. What about you, Jemima?
I've got some pressure now. We've got some really good people at this table. And I was thinking, I feel like I've said this in another podcast episode, but she is my idol, may say, Michelle Obama. Ever since I was younger, my head teacher was like, you can be like her. And I was like, okay. So I've taken it up for myself, but she is amazing. I think everything she does in terms of how she helps society and the conversation she has with people, amazing. But I think altogether we have a very well-rounded table, from athletes to Lizzo, who is in her own respect in a different category, to Michelle Obama. This is a very interesting dinner that I'd like to be a part of. We have some vegan meals, maybe a bit of meat, a bit of a healthy salad with the athletes. We'll see what happens. But we will go straight into our questions for today. So the first question is, why is Black History Month so important? or just important in general?
I think Black History Month is really important because it gives us an opportunity to recognise the contributions of people with African and Caribbean heritage, and some of the contributions that Black people have made to society. I think it's a really important time to uplift and highlight those achievements and to celebrate them. And it's a really good opportunity to kind of hone down on those things and just listen. And I think the education system is changing and it's becoming more inclusive. But I think historically, a lot of the education focuses on quite traditional events. And so sometimes those achievements of Black people and culture can be left out. So I think it's a great time to kind of focus on those. For me personally, I also think it's a really important time to kind of remember the contributions of people before me that have given me the opportunities that I have today. So it's some things like my grandparents, who I know struggled a lot, but did what they could, and also people in the past who just championed Black rights to enable us to have the opportunities that we have today. They made sacrifices, a lot of big sacrifices, and I think it's really important to remember that. So yeah, I think it's just a great time to just celebrate everything to do with Black culture and Black people, and it's just such a fantastic month. So yeah, I think that's why Black History Month is really important.
Thank you, Nyasha. And I really like the way that you celebrate. It is a time to celebrate what has happened, but also what is to come in the future and the moves that we're making in order to make the world a lot more inclusive, but also to just make the world feel like, trying to find the words here, but just like a whole well-rounded world. We are very different. We are a very multicultural world. And to make it the multicultural world it is, we need months like these to showcase and celebrate.
So I think, kind of to echo what Nyasha said, I think Black History Month is just really important to firstly recognise, appreciate, and then finally celebrate all the societal milestones and contributions that have been made to our world, our society, by people of Caribbean and African heritage. And I think, especially in the context of Loughborough University as well, I think it's really important that we're celebrating our staff, our students, and our academics as well, who all contribute so much to the university and higher education experience. Not just for Black History Month, and just all year round as well. We met, our Welfare and Diversity Committee met last week with Charlotte Coffey, and one of the things that she said that stuck out to me, that she said, is that I'm not Black just 1 month of the year, that she's Black all year round too. So I think it's really important that we celebrate Black History Month, but we're also appreciative that it's not just something that happens in October every year, and we should be celebrating these contributions all year round.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was actually gonna touch on that as well, as that, we obviously as a university have a campaign throughout the month of October for Black History Month, but it's something we're really conscious of, that we want to be launching initiatives that then run the rest of the year. It's not just about doing something in October and then ignoring it the rest of the time. So yeah, really important point there.
So let's talk about initiatives that you were talking about, Sophie, really runs into our next question about what the university does and the number of initiatives that we run to support BAME students. So Nyasha, you were part of Future Black Talent. Can you tell us a bit more about what it was and maybe any other initiatives that you know of that's going around in the university?
Yeah, sure. So I guess to explain the Future Black Talent Programme, I'll start with the Talent Match scheme, which is a scheme offered to, I think it's to all students at any point of their university career. But for me, I found out about it when I was in my first year of university. And Talent Match was just a programme that would match students with companies, like small companies, startup companies, to gain work experience. So when I started uni, I had no idea what a placement year was. I didn't understand its value. I was just like, I'm not doing that. I will just do a 3-year course and leave. I didn't even really know what placements were, and no one around me knew what they were either, really. So I wasn't really interested in doing one. But when I did the work experience through the Talent Match scheme, I enjoyed it so much, and it kind of was like a launch pad to the Future Black Talent Programme. And so at that point, I still was kind of unsure about doing a placement. I was a bit on the fence, but that programme really gave me the resources to make the best decision for myself. And I think there's a lot of conversation about things like attainment gaps and awarding gaps for Black students at Loughborough, and the Future Black Talent Programme is kind of targeted at resolving these discrepancies, or at least working towards making it better. So basically what it is, it gives Black students at the university an opportunity to get support in finding a placement, as well as mentorship opportunities. So I had a mentor who would have like weekly meetings with me, and I could talk to her about the application process, any concerns that I had. And she really supported me so much, and I was able to secure a placement. And that was a big thing for me because, yeah, I didn't think I would be able to do it, but I think the support that was offered to me was just so fundamental in me being able to get one. And it really made a difference just having someone in your corner, like just knowing that you have someone who's just cheering you on. It meant a lot, and I was so happy when I was able to tell him that I did get the placement. And after that, I was able to do an internship and get a grad job offer. So I really feel like that program was so fundamental to me being able to have achieved those things. I think in a lot of Black communities, there's this theme about the importance of community and people supporting you and reaching your goals. And I just know that it's because of all the support that I got that I was able to do anything. And so I'm really grateful to the Future Black Talent Programme for enabling me to achieve these things. And actually from that program as well, we had a great leadership program last week. So it was a leadership program for Black students, and it was amazing. It actually, I felt like it was life-changing. I do tend to exaggerate, but I'm not exaggerating when I say it this time. Like, it was really good. And so, yeah, the university is doing a lot to support Black students, and I'm really grateful for those opportunities. And yeah, I'd really encourage any students watching who are thinking about it to just go and ask about it, because I really found them really beneficial.
Thank you so much. It's amazing just to hear how much this program has been able to springboard you into your future, as well as what all you do. I can vouch for you. I had a friend who went to that leadership conference, and he also said it was life-changing. So you're not exaggerating, but it's definitely something for everyone to get involved in. Like you said, so many amazing things have come from it, and you've got a grad job, so congratulations for that as well. Continuing greatness you are.
Just to add to that as well, this month, LU Arts, that's the arts programme that's run on campus, they're launching 2 projects. So they have graphic artist Nadina Ali, who will be working with the Afro-Caribbean Society, and they also have the Diverse Voices in Textiles Research Group from the School of Design and Creative Arts. They'll be hosting several textiles workshops. So yeah, there's lots that's happening, that's launching this month, that's going to continue the rest of the year. It's really exciting to see. And I love to hear about how amazing the things are on campus, and how they're really helping people now. So that sounds amazing. I want to go to a life-changing conference. That sounds so good. And yeah, it's really great to hear.
I think also with all of that we have as well, we say this in every podcast, and I think it goes across the university life, but just get involved. There will be so much to do. Get involved in it. Future Black Talent Programme, go for it. I know sometimes it can be daunting to sign up to these kind of programs or these initiatives, but they will help you in the future, and like we said, springboard you, give you a pad for your future and success. So definitely get involved, join. LU Arts have amazing things to do, and there's always something going on in the university. So definitely just get involved, because we want people to learn more. And like we said, why is Black History Month so important? We're celebrating it not only just in October, but all year round. So definitely make sure you're always there trying to get involved into the community and understanding, as well as being an activist and active bystander. So Richard, what is the university doing to progress race equity?
Yeah, thanks, Jemima. So, the university's been working now for a number of years on its race equity plans. It signed up to the Race Equality Charter 3 or 4 years ago. We submitted in 2021, and we were awarded the bronze charter mark earlier this year. Now, I should be really clear that the Race Equality Charter is not some sort of panacea for all the ills of racism on campus and in society, but what it does is it means that the university takes really good stock of where it stands in terms of race equity and has developed a very clear action plan for addressing a range of priorities related to race equity. So in our Race Equality Charter submission, I think there's something like 120 actions that we're committed to, everything from the Black awarding gap through to how we deal with microaggressions, through to how we how we deal with inequities in terms of outcomes for staff through certain processes within the institution. So there's a really thorough plan in place. But I suppose the really key message that I'd want to say to colleagues and to students is racism is unacceptable, and colleagues should feel and students should feel that they can call it out when it's experienced, and expect that the university will take them seriously with any issues that are brought to our attention. I think it's really important that all colleagues and all students, but especially white colleagues and white students, recognise that tackling race equity is a collective effort. For me as a leader in the organisation, I have a set of specific responsibilities that comes with being a leader to tackle race inequity. So my message is to our staff and students from minority ethnic groups, it's not their responsibility to lead this work, it's the university's leadership responsibility to lead this work and to own this. Everyone has a role to play, but leaders have a specific set of responsibilities, and I think white colleagues and white students have got a specific set of responsibilities. Now, you'll know that we've appointed Professor Charlotte Croffey as our first Pro-Vice Chancellor for EDI. So Charlotte has a very clear set of responsibilities to lead in this area, and I know that he's very enthused and energized coming into her role to progress this in a number of EDI areas. So I think that's one of the things that I wanted to emphasize, which is whilst everyone has a role to play in advancing this, I don't want our staff and students from minority ethnic groups to think that the university's work in this sphere is about dumping the problem on them, because it's quite the opposite. It's our responsibility as leaders to champion this work and to ensure progress is made. In that, it's really important that people feel they've got a voice. So in enacting that leadership responsibility, it's really important that we listen, and that we do that in a collegiate, inclusive way. But I think there's a danger sometimes in giving the impression when one does that one is pushing the problem onto others, and that's very much not what the leadership of this university understands its role to be as we tackle these issues.
Perfect, that's great. That's really good to know as well, Richard, that we've got lots of plans in place, and there's support for staff and for students. Anushka, I don't know whether you want to add on to that what LSU is doing.
So in terms of what LSU is doing to progress race equity, obviously we have a board of trustees, which is composed of students, exec officers like myself, and lay trustees, to make sure that we're keeping to our charitable objectives and ensuring the continuity of the organisation and for future generations. So our board of trustees this year, from looking at the top down, is very racially diverse. We have a couple of PhD students as well who are specialising their research in race equity as well. So we've got a lot of experienced members of staff and students in the room who have a lot to bring to the table and have a lot of experience and knowledge of race equity. Part of my manifesto when I was elected into this role, one thing that I want to achieve is to have a deep dive and look further into the race equity of the staff that we have here, without being tokenistic in our approach. I think it's really important that we have staff who represent student interest and know what students want from all sorts of backgrounds, because that's essentially our job, is to represent student interest and understand what they want. And I feel like a diverse staff force here at LSU is important to understand and recognise what students want and what they need from our Students' Union. And then I also sit on a lot of university committees. So, for example, I sit as a representative from LSU on the Race Equity Working Group, the EDI committee, and also the EDI subcommittee of the Board of Trustees as well.
Where can staff and students go to if they need support?
Yeah, so I think I'd like to get to a position where staff and students feel that wherever they report in the institution, that their concerns will be taken seriously. And we know from work that we've done with students that in particular that they report in a way that feels most comfortable to them. So that's not necessarily into our formal mechanisms. So we found, for example, that students might, for example, report to their sports coach about incidents around racism and other inclusion issues when they occur. But what it's important for us to do is make sure that those colleagues know how to escalate those complaints in the right way and get the support for tackling them. There is a formal incident reporting mechanism. So the best way to report is to go online to the university's incident reporting tool, which you can Google those words and report there. Staff and students can do that anonymously. Equally, they can do it semi-anonymously, so they report anonymously but can still get feedback on their complaint. And what I would say is that reporting mechanism is regularly reviewed and is probably the best place to go if people feel confident in reporting issues of racism.
In terms of support for students, I'm currently the chair of the Ethnic Minorities Network, and the Ethnic Minorities Network's purpose is just to actually represent the voices of students on campus from minority ethnic groups. And so we support students in that way. Our motto is represent, educate and celebrate. So we look to represent students, provide education about barriers and challenges that students of minority ethnic backgrounds may face at university, and also to celebrate different cultures and provide a safe space for students to do that wholeheartedly and to express the parts of their culture that mean the most to them. And so within that, we do support students in terms of any incidents that have happened. And we do have a committee, and I'm the chair of that committee. And we can provide support in terms of, I guess, signposting to the relevant parts of the university that can handle the queries of incidents. And also, we also kind of take the feedback on board and we relay that back to the university. So we can sometimes we act as like the middle person in between the uni and the students, with LSU as well. And so when there are any issues, we take that and we kind of bring it back to the uni to help change whatever's going on. And so we support that. So we create visibility around those challenges and experiences. And so if there's anyone who is struggling at any point, we really encourage them to come and speak to us, and we can direct them as needed.
Thank you. That's really useful information, I'm sure, for our colleagues and for our students to know about.
So we're getting to the end of our podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us again. My last question for you today is if you could recommend a podcast / book / TV show / resource for anyone wanting to consume more media by people of colour, what would it be?
Okay, so I've gone for a couple of things. So in terms of music, I've gone for Little Sims. I love her music so much. Also Arlo Parks and Kofi Stone. I don't know if anyone knows who Kofi Stone is. He kind of gives the same vibes as like Loyal Kana, but he's raised in Birmingham like me, so he's great. I really like his music. In terms of the podcast, I really like the Press podcast with Adiola Patron and Mariam Musa. I think it's really light-hearted, but there's also a mix of some really serious conversation as well. There's one segment they did, I think, about like trying to the narrative that's often pushed on Black women about being a strong Black woman, and how just how that's sometimes pushed on them, and they just want to exist without having this stereotype or expectation imposed on them. And I also really like Moonlight. That's my favorite film, directed by Barry Jenkins. He's a Black filmmaker, and his films are really great. So that's what I would say.
Thank you. There is a plethora of media there that you've given us. Thank you so much. A good recommendation as well. Very interested. I implore everyone to go and give at least like something a listen or watch. Yasha, what are yours?
Yeah, mine are, I don't know if it's a bit boring because I love reading, so I'm a books kind of girl, and so my recommendations are books, because I think like Anushka mentioned earlier, sometimes I guess books give us this opportunity to like discuss quite serious topics, but also simultaneously give you an understanding of the culture or like the historical setting in which the book was written. So I think, it's really important to like read books as well. So the one that I'm going to suggest, the first one, is called Nervous Conditions, and it's by Tsitsi Dangaremba. She's a Zimbabwean author, and the book was published in 1988, and it was actually she's the first woman to have her book published in English, the first Black woman in Zimbabwe to have a book published in English, and it's actually done really well. And it's got a lot of quite serious themes about, for example, women achieving what they want in life and the barriers and challenges that they face, but also deals with other things like colonialism and race and how all those kind of mix together. So I think it's really insightful. And there's a character called Nyasha in the book. She's not as nice as me, I think, if I'm a nice person, but she's in the book there, so that's a plug. And then the other one is Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. And yeah, it details life in Nigeria, pre-colonial life in Nigeria, and how that changes as the political context or the political landscape changes as well. So that one is also quite serious, has quite a lot of deep themes, but it gives you that historical context and understanding of what was happening, which I think is really important. So those are the two books I would recommend.
Thank you. Those are really two interesting books. And I'm not saying that I read them, but you make me want to read them. Definitely you're not alone in the bookworm club. I know Soph's an avid book lover. As an English student, I've got to be a book lover. But they are two amazing books. And the fact that it was the first book to be translated into English for a Black woman is also immense in history. And the fact it was done well as well, amazing as well. So thank you for sharing. Soph, I know you've got some good recommendations.
I do, yes, very much a bookworm as well. I think one that springs to mind that I read quite recently is a book called Memphis by Tara M. Stringfellow. So it's their debut novel, I believe, and it was just a beautiful read. I would advise people to check the trigger warnings because there is quite a lot of heavy content in there, but it's about a family and kind of follows 3 generations of this family. And I really enjoyed it. It touches on racism. It touches on that sense of community that I think we spoke about earlier, that real family unit. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really beautiful book. And the cover of the book, I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but it is beautiful. It's this beautiful illustration of, I think it's 2 or 3 Black women. Just it's so beautiful. I have it up in my home just to look at sometimes because I am a big nerd, but it's stunning. So I think that's my recommendation. What about you, Jemima?
So I've got 2 recommendations and I'll go on the same line of books here. So my first one is Open Water by Caleb Azuma Nelson. So if I know you've read this as well, amazing book. Honestly, such a beautiful book about Black love, but also masculinity, and just what it means to be a person in love. I did love the book, fell in love with it as well, and you really see the journey of these 2 characters falling in love. I am a bit of a hopeless romantic, as you can see, but you get to see this journey, but in one of the purest forms, I'd like to say, but also discussions of masculinity and race, which are really, really important in society today in this book, and it's so well done. And then my other recommendation is a podcast. So if you like to watch Netflix, it's the 10 out of 10 would recommend podcast, and it's by 2 people called Tolani Shoneye. So she's part of the Receipts podcast as well, which is another amazing podcast by women of colour. And then Jenna Moore Barrett, who works for Netflix. And they basically go and they review shows, but also have really important discussions. And it does go off tangent sometimes, but also they have really good discussions of what life is like for them. They bring back the relatability of life for a Black woman in the UK, but also good fun, good jokes, good banter. So I would recommend. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have you. Don't forget that you can subscribe to Let's Talk Loughborough on all streaming platforms, or you can watch the podcast on the Loughborough University YouTube channel.
Thanks for listening, and feel free to share any future podcast episode ideas that you have with us. Anushka and Nyasha, it's been wonderful to speak to you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me, and see you later.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.